What are you producing? If you're not producing, you are not fit for the job. People, if you're going to be on the team, you have to produce. If you're going to be on the team, what are you delivering? Not by the glam. No. What are you producing? But listen, if the person you are teaching and showing is not picking it up, fire them. Fire them. Leadership is not for pampering. Do you understand? Fire them. Simple, done. So let's start this morning with a statement that I hear my mentor John Maxwell use a lot, constantly. He says, there are no two consecutive good days in the life of a leader. No two consecutive good days in a life of a leader, in a leader's life. And today we're talking about challenges, and we must realize and come to the terms that a lot of times leading is not easy. So Norma, this is what I was trying to say on Monday. Leading is not easy. So get that at the back of your mind. You want to grow as a leader, you want to be a leader. Leadership is not easy. Simple. Leadership is not easy. We must realize and come to that terms that a lot of the times leading is not easy. And in fact, let me go ahead and say leadership is not actually fun. Leadership is not fun. And just like John Maxwell said, there are no two good consecutive days in a leader's life. So you just have to accept it. You have to accept that on the front end. Let's start by talking about, straight away, criticism. If you are a leader, just take it that you are always going to be criticized. So the number one thing you have to make up your mind is, how are you going to handle criticism as a leader? The leader has to be prepared that, look, I am always going to be criticized. And how do you handle criticism? When you are determined to be a leader, you must make up your mind that you are going to give all your life to be criticized. I'm just going to say it as it is this morning. The moment you decide, I want to lead something, just make up your mind you are going to give all your life to being criticized. And how do you handle criticism, or how you handle criticism is key. As a leader, you just take this from me free of charge. You are always going to be criticized as a leader. Just prepare for it mentally. They will not tell you this in the leadership schools. They're not going to tell you this at MBA and things like that. But as a leader, from day one, the day you determine I am going to be a leader in any area, you are going to be criticized. You are going to have to man up and make up your mind and begin to learn, how am I going to handle criticism? How am I going to handle criticism? Because when you are determined to be a leader, you must make up your mind that you are going to give it your all. You're going to give it your all. You're going to give it your all. I'm just going to take a back step here again, and just Naomi has just joined, and we just wanted to celebrate Naomi like I did earlier. Naomi is the lady on my team who does my emails, and Abby, Abby's here, and Abby joined today as a result of the emails from yesterday. So well done, Naomi. And I'm going to be using a lot of my team members today to show to give you all different examples. And I really pushed her. I pushed my team this week, especially my social media, and I was sharing my social media and my email person. And I said, look, I want to start seeing results. I want to start seeing results. And really had that word with Naomi. I said, look, I want the emails to convert. There's no need for us to be doing what we're doing if it's not converting. So well done, Naomi. Abby's here today as a result of that. So I'm giving you a bigger task for next month. We'll talk about that after the call. But well done. Kudos to Naomi for delivering on this. So we just talked about criticism. And the moment you decide you're going to be a leader, you must make up your mind you're going to have to live your life being criticized, because leadership is visual. Leadership is visual. If you cannot handle being criticized, don't go into leadership. I'm saying it now. If you can't handle being criticized, don't go into leadership. There are problems and there are facts of life. Two different things. There are problems, there are facts of life. A problem is something you can fix. Okay? A problem is something you can fix. A fact of life you do not fix. A fact of life you do not fix. What's a fact of life? Babs has a big nose. You can't change it. I don't know whether I have a big nose, but I'm just trying to say, so you can't change it. It's what it is. You do not fix it. Do you understand? That's a fact of life, right? So no matter how much Bab feels about his nose, hey, tough. If you're gonna like Babs, you like him with his nose. You like him just like that. Do you understand? That's a fact of life. So I don't know why a lot of people like to stress themselves with facts of life. Leadership and criticism is a fact of life. You become a leader, you are going to be criticized. So don't stress yourself trying to fix it. It comes with the territory. So if you're a leader, you would always be criticized. If you're a leader, you're always going to have leadership stuff to work with. People are going to stress the heck out of you as a leader, right? So when leaders for me begin to complain, I look at them and say, look, but you signed up for it. Leading, this is part of the territory. This is what comes with leadership. It's part of the territory. You are going to have problems every day. You are going to have challenges every day. You're going to have criticism every day as a leader. And if you cannot take it, you know what? Quit complaining. Do not complain about something you have chosen in your life, about something you have decided is for you, right? Stop complaining. So when you choose to lead, you are always going to have issues. You're always going to have challenges. You're always going to have problems. You're always going to have difficulties. That is why it is called leadership. It's called leadership. That's why it's called leadership. Remember, what makes you a leader is your ability to solve problems. Do we agree with that? Hit the chat box. The very reason why you're a leader is your ability to solve problems. And in most cases, people pay you to solve problems. BBJ, right? That's why you're paid. In the leadership role you are at work, you are paid to solve problems. Dime has just gotten on the fast track with Mnet. She's being prepared to go solve problems. So you get paid to solve problems. 90% of people do not want to deal with problems at all in their life. And if you are willing to just deal with people's problems, they will pay you very well just to handle their problems for them, because they do not want to handle it. People don't want to handle their problems. They would rather someone else handles their problems. And a lot of times when people say they want to be a leader, they think it's about the parking spaces. Not going to mention any place right now, or the corner office. And there's a whole bunch of things you would get, right? As a leader, there are perks that comes with leadership. But let me tell you what else you're going to get. When you sign up for leadership, you sign up for problems. When you sign up for leadership, you sign up for trouble every single day. You are going to have to be responsible. Let me also say that when you get better as a leader, I hear people who say, look, I need to get better in my leadership. As you get better as a leader, it does not get easier. It does not get easier as you get better in your leadership. The only difference is if you get better as a leader, you get more responsibility. Ouch. The better you get more responsibility. That is how leadership works. If I give you more responsibility, it's because you're getting better. The moment I don't need you, you have lost your leadership ranks in any establishment. For me to keep needing you, if you're working in any establishment and they give you more work, they say if you want to get somebody, if you want to get job done, give the job to somebody who's producing. That's how it works. If you want to get job done, you will naturally think, oh, this person is doing too much. No, in reality, you give the person who's producing more work. That's how they grow. That's how they get more responsibility. The only difference is you get better as a leader, you get more responsibility. You get a heavier load to carry because the leader will carry the load that and the thing is, the load that you're given to carry, actually, you can carry it. It's always load that you're capable of carrying if you're willing to stretch yourself. And so the size of your load almost always is determined by the size of your leadership. The size of the load you carry is almost determined by the size of your leadership. So the challenges we're going to discuss today, let me just say it up front. It is not about to make your leadership problems go away. I'm not that kind of person. Are you ready for this? It's not about to make your leadership problems go away. It's not. And that's what I was trying to tell you on Monday. It is leadership. So, but what the things we're going to share are so that when you begin to see these things tomorrow, you are prepared to meet those challenges. But they're not going to go away. You understand? When you find yourself in a new leadership role, things are going to change. So let's look at number one. Leadership challenge number one, developing people. Developing people. Leadership challenge number one. Many leaders have no clue that their role is to develop people. Leadership challenge number one is developing people. It's why I run what I do. It's why I run the things I do the way I do. Leadership challenge, the most common problem leaders have is that they do not build a serious interest in developing people. You must be prepared. Do you know that people are your most appreciable asset? Your greatest return is people. Not in the technology you put in. Your greatest return in any leadership sphere is people. So your number one thing to do is look for people and develop people. And I'm going to break it down because it's not everybody you're supposed to be developing. The one who influences others to follow as a leader has certain limitation. A lot of people think leadership is about followership. I'm going to teach a lesson actually very soon. I've been contemplating teaching it, but I just haven't felt right yet. And that subject is, the topic is going to be something like, are you a leader or are you a follower? Because there are followers who are leaders. Leadership is not about amassing followers. Unfortunately, that's what Twitter, Instagram, and all of them teach us. But that doesn't make you a leader. So are you a leader or are you a follower? And there are many followers in leadership positions. So the one who influences others to follow as a leader, you are going to have certain limitations when all you're trying to do is have followers. But the one who influences others to lead, do you see the difference? When you influence others to lead others, that's a leader without limitation. There's no place I can... Look, I'm not in Rwanda, but Dima is in Rwanda. If I needed something done in Rwanda, there is somebody here that we're raising who can go and do something in Rwanda. Do you understand? You, as a leader, you influence others to lead. The purpose of a leader is not for people to follow you. It's not for you to say, I have this many followers. I have this many people that come to my establishment. I have this many people that come to what I do. No, it's how many people do I get to lead? How many people do I give work to do? How many people do I empower? The one who influences others to lead others is a leader without limitations. So you want to be a leader without limitation by empowering other people to lead consistently. If you have two choices as a leader, you can either lead followers or you could develop leaders. You are either leading followers or you develop leaders. I have chosen to be the leader who develops other leaders. Right? 90% of all leaders lead followers. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they just lead followers. That's how our churches are built. That's how a lot of establishments are built. Just followers, just followers, just followers. People are not prepared to pay the price to build leaders, to develop leaders because of their own insecurities. Right? 90% of all leaders do not develop leaders at all. And in fact, a lot of leaders are very content just to have followers. I hope this is helping. If you're going to be a person in this academy, you can't be somebody who's just content to want to have followers. You have to be somebody who is prepared to build followers, to build leaders who would also go out and lead. So in fact, stop being that person who's looking for how many people are following me. It's not an easy thing to develop people, but that is what you have to be committed to doing, because leading leaders is exceedingly difficult. When you have leaders, it's actually hard work. It's hard work. And that's why many people don't want to lead leaders. They would just rather lead people who are yes sir people who just say anything. And when you say anything, then they just accept it. No, developing leaders is even more difficult. But if you can lead leaders and develop leaders, you have no limitations to as far as your potential can be. And one of the things I have always done with my teams, and pretty much all my team members are mandated to be on this call. One of them is not here now, so she's in trouble. All my team members are mandated to be on this leadership call. And why is that? Because I always set goals for my team members, constantly set goals for them to be so good at what they do. You have to be, if you're going to be on my team, you have to be so good at what you do, because that's how you become a leader. You walk your way out of a job. You walk your way. I have to keep changing. If you're going to be in my leadership team, I have to keep changing the job description. If you were still doing what you were doing last year, you are no longer effective to me. because you're not growing, you're not developing. No one else is coming to take your position. Do you understand? Is this making sense? So I want to raise leaders. I don't just want to raise people who are just going to be in the team. I'm just a part of the team. No, you have to, every single person on my team, they have to be willing to grow, to work themselves out of the job. In fact, and I learned this from John Maxwell, he's always saying there's nothing better than to train people until they are good, such that they work themselves out of their jobs. In fact, I heard John Maxwell say in his company, what he does, he tells his staff, if you have the ability to train others and work yourself out of your current job, I'll give you another one. That is actually a standard in all John Maxwell companies. He trains, everybody has to be able to train others, has to be able to bring others. Do you know why they will fire you in a John Maxwell company? That you're not raising others. They will literally fire you in a John Maxwell company. That who is replacing you? Who have you brought through the ranks? Is the reason why you will lose your job. But the fact that people grow under you, the fact that you're able to train other people and work yourself out of whatever job that has been given you, right? John will give you more money. John would elevate you. John will promote you. But you sit down in John Maxwell's company within a year and a half, they can't see how you've grown out of your position. They can't see who you're bringing through the ranks, who is taking over your role. You'll get fired. And he's always giving countless examples of how they've done that. But if you cannot work yourself out of a job, you then it's going to be taken away from you. And it's just the job you have until you train somebody to do that job. Who are you training? I want everybody on this call to look at yourself. Who are you training to take over from you? Who's going to take? Look, ever since I started my community, I've built a community of coaches. Bolanle is a career coach, right? Remy is growing in as a financial coach. It's key. Who are you growing? I've opened up the channel for so many other John Maxwell coaches in my team, almost everybody. You have to be able to open up the channels for people to come through. That's how you grow. So in this academy, we're changing the narrative because a lot of us, especially from where we come from, we've been taught the wrong things about leadership. You fire yourself from your current job and bring people through the ranks. You bring people through the ranks. Who are you training? And when Jimmy's working with me, Jimmy's quite good with something. I started telling him once, he didn't know I was there. I said, look, I need you to start training this other person in this thing. He read it wrongly though. He read it thinking I was going to fire him. Yes, I was going to fire you, but it means you go up. That's how it works. When I see people, I want to work with team members who are helping other people get better at what they're doing. So I want to build a team where people go on and do better things. I want to build a team where people go on and add more value to what I'm doing, not just doing the same thing you've always done. That's how we grow. That's how we grow. In fact, one of my friends on the other call this morning said this. Unfortunately, and if you know me very well, I come from the church system. It's actually one of the things we miss or don't know about pastors. Do you know the role of a pastor? I heard Mark say this morning and I laughed because it tells, do you know the role of a pastor? The role of a pastor simply in the Bible is to equip the saints to do the work. But unfortunately, no, guys, help me. Is that not what's in the Bible? Equip the saints for the work of the ministry is what the Bible says. But what we find out in our churches is we have pastors who would not leave the work for the people to do, and they just want to be in everything. That's not what the role of the pastor is. The role of the pastor is to equip the people. Equip the people for leadership. Equip the people for ministry. Equip the people. Empower the people to do the work. That is what leadership is. And that is what leadership is. As a pastor, as a leader, whatever, you are not supposed to be doing the work. You are there to give people the tools to equip them to do the work. That's what leader does. So my role as a leader is to be training, to be teaching, to be helping people discover their gifts. A lot of the things Jimmy is doing today were not the things he was doing when he met me. You know, to help people, your job as a leader is to discover the gifts of the people. Remy gives me a spreadsheet. I'm like, how can we make this spreadsheet better? I want more from this spreadsheet, right? Naomi writes emails for me. I'm like, no, we're making too many mistakes. How can we make this better? I want results from these emails. I don't just want you, and that's why I said she's on the call. I told her this week, I said, I don't just want to send in emails. I want emails that convert. How can we get better at what we do? I want emails that convert. And so it's a testament that Abby, because if it can happen for one, then it can happen many times. Same thing with my team. With Remy and Bolanley, this week we've had an argument. We have a little argument. We have an event coming, and they said, I said, oh, we have I'm going to talk about my team today. I'm going to put all of them on blast. We have an event coming, and we said, oh, they said, oh, but you said the first time is only for the team. I said, so what? I said, I'm always going to stretch things. No doubt about me. I'm always going to stretch things. I said, the moment this month, I said, let's tidy up this stuff. They're on the call. I said, let's tidy up what we're doing because next month I'm going public. I want to see how we can stretch ourselves and push ourselves. I said, we're going to put it out there for £750, £1,000. I want to see if it is possible that we can have somebody look at what we're doing on social media, look at it and say, you know what? I want to go and pay £750 to attend what Aaron is doing. That's how we grow. That's how we stretch. So if we now sit down here and think, oh, yes, it's sold out, we're good. Who did that help? It doesn't take us anywhere. We haven't learned anything. It's something we can do. We know how to sell out events now. We always sell out our events. So where's the stretch? So in my head, I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, fine. This is going on good, but where's the stretch? There needs to be a stretch somewhere. There needs to be something we're reaching. There needs to be something that stretches all of us. Last 2 years, remember, Babs and Remy, we literally camped in a room for 3 days, right? Learning sales, right, guys? That's what we do. We checked in a hotel for a weekend. We listened to videos. We were writing down sales strategies. We were literally writing down scripts. We were not sleeping. We're writing down scripts. We said we're going to crack this sales thing. That is how we stretch as leaders. So, and I want to go down that road with people who are willing to go down that road. If you're on my team and you're not willing to stretch, that's when I start pushing you out. So let me better let you know what goes on at the top of leadership. This is how they think. The moment you are not stretching, you're on your way out. The moment I give you a task, another person doing an amazing job in my team is my YouTube manager. Amazing work. She doesn't turn around. She gives me all this kind of thing. I want you to do live stream. I say, I'm not doing live stream. I want you to do this. I like when people can take what I'm telling them and create something from it. Don't give me the excuse of it can be done. This is the only way it can be done. No. Get into your creativity. If you read Think and Grow Rich, if you read Henry Ford, they told him a V8 engine can be built. He sat down there with them. He said, go and do it. Go and get it done. It took them 1.5 years, but they did it. That's what leaders do. So, but when you keep hearing people say, no, coach, you're not doing this. No, that is excuses. You're not producing. You're not producing. And in my head, such people are marking their days. When you walk around me like that, you're marking your days because I need people who are constantly producing. So if you're on my team, I make you read too many books. I make you go through. The moment you say it is too much, you're out. You can't be in my team if you're not growing. You can't be in my team if you're not willing to read. You can't be in my team if you're not going to stretch yourself. You can't be in my team if you're not going to work hard. I put an enormous amount of pressure on my team intentionally because they need that to stretch. So I get really frustrated when I must tell my team members, look, listen. It's not a compliment when people are waiting on you to tell them what to do. As a leader, it's not a compliment that you need me to tell you what to do. It's actually not a compliment. Look, I looked at my YouTube during the week and I'm surprised, 330 something subscribers. I'm like, what? For something we started 2 months ago. My music channel with all the publicity and everything is only at 1,000 plus. In how many years? 11 plus years. And within 2-3 months, I see somebody who I don't even talk to, who I don't give enough time. That's my YouTube manager. And she's taking my YouTube channel, my coaching channel, to already 30 something subscribers. That is somebody who's getting the job done. Is this helping people? So I judge my people by what they are producing. Not by the glam. No. What are you producing? If you're not producing, you are not fit for the job. What are you producing? Many people on this thing, you can see all this coming through right now. People, if you're going to be on the team, you have to produce. If you're going to be on the team, what are you delivering? Get really frustrated when I must tell my team members what to do. Or worse, when they always have to wait on me for things to get done. You lose me. We have a retreat coming. Bolanle has carried it. All I did was in the first year, I breathed what I wanted. Everybody saw what we needed to get done. The last 2 years, Bolanle is just taking it off. She's taking a problem off me. There are many layers of the conversation I don't have to have. Do you understand? Everything finance in my team, I don't have to think about it. Why? Because Remy takes that problem away from me. Do you understand? It's like, I don't even think, how much are we going to give a speaker? How much? None of that. She divides it, breaks it down for me. All I say is yes. That is what you need on your team. You need people who solve problems. The highest compliment any leader has is that when you are not available, it's still going well. When you're not available, it's still going well. The last 3 months, and if possibly the next 3 months, very trying times for my family and I, and it's a quiet time. But I have an amazing team. Things are still working. My social media still looks good even when I'm not there on social media, because my social media presence makes me look good, makes me feel like I'm there. That is how you need a team. If you in your business, if you always have to be there for your business to run, you are not in business. You are working for your business. So let's get this ready. Let's get this fact now. If you always have to be there for your business to run, I know social media tells us a whole load of story. But if you always have to be there for the social media to work, you are working for social media. You are working. You really think? I mean, I heard Ronaldo is the highest grossing Instagram person this week. You really think Ronaldo sat down on Instagram to make it work? Ronaldo? Do you understand? So what are we saying? Where do we get all this stuff from? If you have to be there for it to work, you haven't learned it, you haven't cracked it. Because when you do it well, look at what's happening with Remy's whatever. How much of Remy is even at the time where she says she's not doing much, but yet it's growing. Because once you get the system, you work the system. That is it. Your business has to be able to work without you being there. You need the system, and I'm always pushing my team for the system. Get me the system that works. Don't tell me that we have to pay for Facebook ads. What's that? That's laziness. That's laziness. And that's what I love about my YouTube manager. I was ready to pay for it. She said, no, we're not going to pay. She said, I want this to grow organically. When people come to me like that, that's what I like. Don't give me the lazy way of, we have to pay for this, we have to pay for that. Nonsense. Show me how it works. I was ready to pay. She said, no. She said, Coach, we're going to build this and it's going to work organically. And I'm like, yeah, let's do this. So I don't need people who are always going to keep taking shortcuts. Yeah, let me answer that question quickly. Grace, what's the place of modeling in all of this, where you still have to teach the person what needs to be done? That's why I said earlier on, I said, good answer, BBG. I said earlier on, the first year, I pretty much showed my team what I wanted with Rejuvenate. And now, Bolanle runs with it. There's always going to be the time to teach and show. But listen, if the person you are teaching and showing is not picking it up, fire them. Fire them. There's no leadership is not for pampering. Remy and Bolanle role play with me. Remember when I was running, and most of you on this call, Jimmy, remember when we're running Heart of the Matter, I brought in an entirely new project manager.
Yeah.
Right? None of them knew about it because I was trying to test that person in that area. I really do believe the person had the potential, and I was really trying to stretch that person that, hey, if I can possibly teach you project management and event management, I think you're going to. Did the person do anything? I literally still had to, at the time, I still had to come back to Remy and Bolanle to say, please help me work with this person, help me work with this person. Some of you are begging, no, because everybody knew she was going to get fired already. Right? You guys knew she was going to get fired. Jimmy, you knew she was going to get fired, right? And all of them were just coming, oh, let's give her some chance. No. That was the last project. That was the last anything. Simple, done. Do you understand? Fire them. So, Don't get me on this leadership stuff. So let's look at a to-do list in developing leaders. Number one, develop yourself. As a leader, you have to first develop yourself. So when you talk about developing leaders, you do not talk about developing someone. Bring your questions to the end. You do not talk about developing someone else until you have developed yourself. All right, so that's where it starts. I don't just go working on Remy, working on Bolanle, working on the team. No, the only reason why, do you know how strong these girls are? Do you know how amazing each and every one of these people are? If you can lead a Remy and Bolanle and a Loho, then you are a strong person. Trust me, you are a strong person because they are strong in their rights. They have people who look up to them. The only reason why they listen to me is because they know I walk what I say. I develop myself. I grow myself. I stretch myself. I push myself. That's how it works. If you don't go trying to develop somebody else, don't go trying to train somebody else, don't go trying to lead somebody else if you haven't led yourself. No. It doesn't work that way. So number one thing as the leader is I develop myself. I am my greatest challenge. I'm my greatest challenge. The greatest leadership challenge you're ever going to have in your life is leading you. Me leading myself is the greatest challenge. The biggest problem you have in your leadership is not the people. It's the biggest problem you have in your leadership is you. Because many times, you know how many times I have to eat my tongue? Many times I have to control myself not to say the wrong thing. So many times I'm constantly having to work on myself in my leadership. Constantly. You hear leaders say, I've got all these challenging people to lead. In fact, if you don't have challenging people in your team, you're not a great leader. That means you just want yes sir people. If you don't have people who can challenge, I mean, trust me, there's no day Remy doesn't challenge anything I do. Oh, she would always have a challenge. She's always going to come with challenge. But that stretches me. Because I'm going to have to think high above that. And then eventually we're always going to come to a good conclusion. Number one, she understands where I'm coming from. And most times, do you know the truth? Most times in my mind, I've walked through all those questions that they're going to ask me before they come. Ask my wife. Sometimes my wife says, back in the day, she used to think I'm a witch. Because before people ask, I've already processed it. And that's one of those things as a leader. You have to be able to think quickly, make decisions quickly. 90% of everything else would get better when you develop yourself. It's much easier for me to tell you what to do than for me to do it myself. Look, I'm pushing myself in my fitness. I can tell you everything to do. I told Remy to do a 90-day challenge. It's probably more harder for me to go and do it myself. And that's why I try to be very transparent as a leader. I'm a coach. I tell you what to do. That's my job. But I will tell you also the areas where I have challenges. Everybody on this call knows my challenge with bread, but I can tell you, don't eat bread. It's not good for you. Right? Everybody on this call, don't eat bread, don't eat rice. Well, rice is not a problem. But mate, you want to get me? Just flash me some agege bread and I'm a fool straight away, just like that. I've seen myself fast and break my fast just at the sight of bread. You know, I really still think bread was created by God for a reason, because bread is the bread of life, but I think the world is just trying to make bread bad. But anyway, so number one, I have to develop myself as a leader. Number two, if you're going to develop leaders, the second thing, where's KG? KG's not on this call. If you're going to develop yourself as a leader, the second thing on your to-do list is you are going to have a growth culture. These are not things I like to say because these are some of my secrets, but many of you will see how it plays. You cannot be in my team if you're not a part of my growth environment. Not possible. You can't choose. The person who does my admin does not talk to me regularly. The moment she said, oh, no. Why? Tell him to get on. The moment, Grace, yeah. The moment he said, she said, no, she can't be a part of my group, whatever. I've been looking for a replacement in my head for her. Because if you're going to grow as a leader, you need an environment. You have to be intentional about creating a growth culture. You have to create a growth culture that is conducive for leadership, that is conducive for people to grow. And I'm not going to talk about a lot about this because that's the problem I'm going to deal with next week about culture. To develop a growth culture, a leadership growth culture. When I led singles, Gospel is here. It was important. We create a growth environment for the people to grow. Your job is to train the people, to equip the people, to empower the people, to create an environment for them to keep learning. Leadership becomes extremely hard when you cannot recognize leadership potential. How do you spot leadership potential? You spot them by the environment you create. God's will is a minister today. Those things were tapped. It's always been in him. Those things were tapped in the times when we were working in singles. Most of the people in my former church who are doing something were people, these were things that were tapped at the level of growth. Do you understand? The people on my team today are going to lead conglomerates. They're going to lead organizations. Why? Because we are creating that environment. So when I see somebody who is not happy or ready to lead, you are not fit to be on the team. You're not fit to be on the team. You are only on my team when I can see what area are you leading. What area? Don't come and be asking me what is the problem you're going to solve and what is the area of that problem here. You handle it. You are the head of department. You are the head of this thing, not me. With my music, Glenn will tell you, I show up for my concerts. We have a concert on a Saturday, right? I would show up, Glenn and Esther will tell you, I show up for my rehearsals on Thursday. They would have been practicing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sometime maybe 2 weeks, because there is a music director. So I speak to my music director what I want. I tell Guzzy what I want. I tell my vocal coordinator what I want. They go and take that thing and deliver it. If I now still have to come to the thing, there's a problem in my leadership. Then I don't have the right team. Right? So you have to know your team. When we're starting Transformation House, same thing I told, the moment we needed to buy equipment, everything music, I go to my music director, my personal, this is the problem. This is what we want solved. He gets it done. So you lead an area. That's how you build your point. If you don't have people who can take an area and lead in, you don't have leaders. Kick them out. Kick them out because you're wasting more time. Your job is to recognize potentials quickly. You're there to recognize potential. Give me 100 people. I remember when I was going to start when I was going to lead the singles. My former pastor then told me he gave me a few names of people that I was going to lead with. I said no. I said I will pick my leaders. I said I want you to work with this person, work with this person, work with this person, work with this person. I said no. I said if you want me to do this over time, I will pick my leaders. And everyone I chose are doing amazing things today. Every one of them came through the ranks. And you know, funny enough, all the people they gave me that I was going to lead with, all of them actually left the church within 6 months. So imagine how I would have been strangled in trying to make people whose hearts were not really there. No, your job as a leader is to find the potentials and grow the potential in somebody. If somebody does not have the potential, don't make them a leader. Don't make them a leader. This is where it starts. If you do not pick a person with potential, no matter how good your training program, no matter how lovely you sound and everybody like you, look at my face, they will not succeed. They will not succeed. Stop trying to carry people who are not ready to go. No, it's not in leadership. Don't stop. A training program doesn't help people that do not have potential. Remy cannot sing. So imagine me giving her the best training in singing. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Thank God Bolanle BBJ quickly found herself because once upon a time, imagine if BBJ, you were still in choir, tried to kill yourself to compete with Wando. Do you understand? You see how a lot of us put ourselves in trouble. And then you start to identify yourself with somebody else's area of strength. No, it doesn't work like that. And I don't know why we like doing this. They just carried everybody. Oh, maybe they will get good over time. They're not going to get good. If they can't sing, they can't sing. Tell them. Let them move on. Let them move on. They can be an administrator in the choir, but don't give them the microphone. Let them be clear about that you didn't come here to sing, but you may have other gifts that we can use, right? Help them discover that gift, right? And that's what I see people when people, like you see this, when people start to complain, coach, is too much on my masterminds. We're reading too many books. Everybody who knows me, I start kicking. That's when all of a sudden you know that person has been deleted from the community. Because if you're going to work with me, you're going to be prepared to stretch. Stretch is how we grow in leadership. That's how we grow in leadership. I make people in my community go through it, go through the stretch. The moment you're not willing to stretch, I cut them loose. So now you guys see where that's coming from, because it's leadership. I want to go with people. I want to go with people. Look, guys, take this statement from me. Do not send your duck to eagles. Eagles and ducks don't blend together. Right? If I keep hanging out with ducks, I would forget I'm an eagle. I'll start quacking.